everybody. Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I am Matt Connerton, and of course,
sure you are.
I present to you, I truly am, maybe. And this is the Honorable Gary S. Hopper, who was in session today, it looks like.
I was.
Is that what you call it, in session, or what do you call it? In session makes it sound like you're a therapist.
I call it nappy time, but...
Nappy time, yeah. Did you have a good nap?
I did.
That's good. People who take afternoon naps are more productive.
Absolutely, and I almost was able to sleep right through the whole thing.
Really?
Which was very productive.
Yes, excellent.
Every now and again, my guy sitting next to me nudges me, says, vote green, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's good you have guidance.
Exactly. I don't know what I voted for or against, but I was there. Mm-hmm. So I got mileage, so that's $15.
Cha-ching!
Yeah. I know how to make the bucks.
Good old state reimbursement.
What really bothers me, though, Matt, is you know how my big issue that wasn't really my issue as much as it was hoisted or foisted? Foisted? F? Foisted on me?
Foisted upon you,
Foisted
yes.
upon me was right to work. Mm-hmm. And we did right to work today. And you remember how Bill, former Speaker O'Brien, kicked me out of my chairmanship because I didn't vote his way on that?
Yes.
So I went up to him in the hall, because this is his bill, so I went up to him before the vote. I says, Bill, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do on this one.
Really?
Yeah, then I told him about my problem with my flashback since I had my eye operation, too.
Now, he
what?
doesn't strike me. We had him on the show once.
Yes.
He doesn't strike me as having when you're one-on-one with him, does he have a good sense of humor?
Oh, yeah. He does. He's sharp. He's funny.
Because when he came on the show that one time, it almost was that sort of, I don't know quite what to make of this vibe, which actually about 80% of our guests kind of have that. But,
yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't assume anything about him specifically.
No, he's actually quite friendly. And he's not as funny as me, obviously.
Well, obviously not.
That just doesn't happen.
No.
What the heck did we do today? Okay, wait. Let's see. We had some good ones, but I can't read because my eyes stink. You want to... Probably shouldn't hold that in front of my face. Let's see. Well, actually, some people are out there saying he really should hold it in front of his face. Judiciary Committee. I'm not sure if I screwed up on this. I'm not sure if I should have had a floor fight. Not that I could have possibly won on this. But it was House Bill 311, introduced by Representative Neil Kirk. And what the bill said was that you have a presumed right of privacy not only to your home, but to your own personal information. Okay, so in other words, if I drink out of this cup, it's funny watching myself in the thing. I don't know which way to go. Anyway, so I just had a flashback right there.
Another one?
Oh, yeah.
Those are scary.
Oh,
well, what
man.
kind do you have with your eye thing?
No, I'm not talking about that right now. We have a lady present.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, the bill in effect would say, I have no right to privacy as far as this cup if I throw it in the trash. However, the information on the cup is mine and should not be taken, used, or distributed. Okay.
So that's what the bill
That's what
says?
the bill does.
Okay.
And now, because I'm paranoid or because I'm looking way into the future, I can easily see a time in the very near future, not distant future, where you could have companies that are paying anybody to, like for instance, they look at your license plate or they know who you are, they grab the cup you just had out of the trash at Dunkin' Donuts, they take a little bit of your DNA, and now, I mean, you know how huge financially data mining is. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine data mining with DNA mining? Okay? That means a 18-year-old child just entering the workforce would have an identity, and these companies would have just a little bit of saliva, check DNA, and say, no, he's going to be prone to heart problems. We don't want to hire him.
Oh, interesting.
You realize how profoundly valuable that piece of information is? Mm-hmm. It's.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
I'm a genius.
Yeah,
Matt,
well, I know. Yes,
Matt,
yes.
we've been through this.
You just
got to,
But I continue to be in awe is what it is. Every time it's like another level of awe that I am in of your genius.
Say that 5 times fast. So, anyway, I probably it didn't go through today. I thought it was a really cool idea, a really cool piece of legislation. The thing I feel badly is that's part of the genius. I have to invent my own words.
Yes.
I'm not restricted to the.
Good for you. Yes.
I did that in committee. I'm in the Judiciary Committee. Oh, my guest is Deb Shorter, and she's an author who has written a book about the issues with our social service programs. But anyway, let me just finish the legislative stuff. So
You got to tell me which camera to look at.
That one.
Okay.
Well, unless you're speaking with us.
All right. Okay.
Us, but
That's good.
I just wanna
I
gaze on the
have a
camera
hard time.
you
I have a hard time actually not looking at a guest when I'm talking to him. I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to do that, but whatever. Oh, life's rough.
You are supposed to do that.
I
Yeah,
am
you are-
supposed to.
you
They
are
just
supposed
told me.
The voice of God behind us. Did you hear that?
I did.
You are supposed to do that, Gary.
Oh man, life is just
So,
strange.
so what happened with the vote today?
What are we talking about? So yeah.
Politics, your job.
Oh yeah, my job. So I was remiss. I should have staged a floor fight. It was going to die anyway. Okay, people in the legislature don't like new ideas. Okay, one of the first things out of their mouth is, "What other states have already done this?"
Really?
What does that matter?
That's
Is it a
true.
good idea or a bad idea?
Right.
Anyway, so I should have fought this on the floor, not with the intention of winning, but just with the intention of informing, because people have to start getting a grasp on where we're headed.
The issue's not going to go away.
It's
That's
not.
for sure.
It's gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna become more imminent, not less relevant. So anyway, that was one. Yeah, we did the right to work bill. That went down. That one pissed me off a lot.
What was the outcome?
Oh, it didn't. It was all Democrats, so it didn't even come close.
Right.
But what really bothered me was the firefighters were up in the balcony cheering, which is okay. They're not supposed to, but whatever. Move on. Life goes on. And then we voted, and it was killed. And so the firefighters were also having a food afterwards. Well, I had to wait until the rest of the votes were done, and I pressed the button for mileage and all that stuff. Whereas they were all set; they're done. So they went over to the barley house and finished off most of the food. So by the time I got all the stuff done, I had to get done, get over to the barley house for my free food. Gone.
Really? That is not fair.
So I'm probably gonna have to vote for right to work a couple times to keep them on.
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
Keep the food coming.
keep
Yeah.
the food coming.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got to ride that gravy train.
Absolutely. Literally.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what else? What else did we do, Matt?
I don't know. I wasn't actually there.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really. I don't spy.
Oh, we had
I don't
a
stalk you.
cool Medal of Honor thing. A guy got up because his one of the state reps got up because was that the Medal of Honor one? But a guy got up and his son had passed away in 2006 in Afghanistan, I think. I don't think it was Iraq, but that was very touching. I wouldn't want to be in his position having to say those things.
Right.
But of course I have a different family. If I have to get up and talk about my kid dying, it's probably going to be because they, I can't think of anything nice. Anyway, so
I didn't know where you were going with
I
that.
don't know where I was going
It's kind of scammy.
either. So anyway, our guest is Deb Shorter, and she's already really aggravated me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I showed up on time. Or
No. Okay, I'm a politician.
Yeah.
Okay, my word doesn't mean squat. I became a politician because I knew then I could say anything I wanted and it doesn't matter because there's no accountability.
Right.
Really.
There's no consequences.
No consequences. I can make up stuff
Yes.
and stuff. But you, on the other hand, are an author.
I am.
Therefore, your livelihood is absolutely dependent on accuracy and honesty.
Not completely true.
Wait. You told me on Facebook. I got record of it.
Yeah.
You told me you were going to show up with bells on.
I did
I
say
did
that.
not hear any bells.
I did say that. They must have fell off of my earrings.
Oh,
I didn't
well,
know that.
that's
That just went with my really chipper, outgoing.
And they just flew off. Of course, yes, I believe that.
With all my
You believe
dancing
that?
before I got
I
here.
don't believe that.
No,
Yes. I did say bells on.
convinced.
That's right, I did.
You did, yeah. So I'm pretty.
I apologize for losing my bells.
I don't know how to take that.
I knew what you were going with that, and I was like, well, we need to stop.
Oh my!
Oh yeah. All right, let's change to something else. A family program, for cripe's sake. Doug. You gotta control yourself.
I'm your guest. And you
Anyway,
put the hand grenade in front of him?
it's my hand grenade.
It's his hand grenade, and it's the less humane one too.
It is the evil one.
Be careful with it.
No,
There's accountability here.
nope. No, that's why I'm a politician. We've already been through that.
Right. She doesn't
I don't
listen
want to keep. I
well.
know. Apparently not.
Deb, please,
Short
pay
on
attention.
the pickup, I guess.
I guess so. Jeez.
Anyway, Deb.
Anyway.
All seriousness aside, we invited you here to talk about your book.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Unless you want this, Deb. I got a present. I tried to give this to Matt last week, but I stole another one.
Oh,
It's a New Hampshire Constitution.
Yeah, I'm getting mine tomorrow night, so.
You getting yours tomorrow?
Yeah. I told Janine I wanted one. She said, I have one for you. I'll make sure you have it. Because I asked too many questions, apparently.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
We don't, well, I'll just lie. I don't care. We don't need actual proof or anything.
right.
Really.
Well, not generally, no.
No.
Not in the internet era.
No.
So is this one actually mine to keep then?
Unless Deb steals it from you before
Yeah.
the night's
I
over.
won't. I
Well,
won't.
she's getting one tomorrow.
I'm getting one
so.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So I can have it.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay. You're not going to be an Indian giver again, like last week.
Like last week,
Okay.
right.
All right. Good. Thank you.
I'll take the grenade if you're giving out presents.
It's my grenade, Deb.
My grenade. Okay.
Okay, we got that straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're good. Okay, so anyway, the other thing I was mad about. Okay, no, go ahead, talk.
Okay, what do you want? Would you like me to interview you?
Yes, would you please?
So what's your stand on welfare?
Oh no. So anyway, you please start with a little bit of background. How you came upon this information? Are you a Soviet spy?
No, I was not a spy.
You know they all say that.
I know. Well, of course. Yeah. That's
You know,
what
if
you would
if
say,
you're a
yeah.
spy, you only go in for like a couple months and then you leave, but you don't stay for years. So,
What if you're a really good one?
well, you'd be a stupid one if you stayed that long and you were just spying.
Oh,
Good point.
Yeah.
She's got a point. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I worked for the federal government for 3 years in a grant program, and then
What is a grant program?
A grant program is, when someone writes a grant, and I worked for the Renaissance Project.
So in
at
other
the
words, somebody
Pembroke
wrote
Academy.
a grant to the federal government. We need money for this project, and they set up that project, and you were one of the members of that group.
That would be correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what was the purpose of this particular project?
It was to bridge communities between Allenstown and Pembroke,
literally, and probably figuratively more than literally.
figuratively. Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, and so I did that for 3 years, and they paid my way into the New Hampshire retirement system, so it only made sense to go into a state job
Right.
for the rest of my 7 years.
Adult career.
Yeah, because I only planned on spending 10. And so I became a caseworker at the welfare office in Concord.
Okay.
And after doing that for 7 years, I left and wrote a book about it.
Okay.
And it's called An Eye
Now,
into
did you
Welfare.
leave? Did you leave? Were you like discouraged and just wanted to get out and write a book about it, or did you were planning that anyway, and that was just what you did when you got?
No, I've been writing since I was 5, but I never published. And when I left, you write about what you know about. So,
Right.
of course, welfare was a great target for me. And I was very well informed, after 7 years of interviewing
Okay.
tons of people in New Hampshire. And so I decided to write a book about it.
Okay. So now you said welfare reform, but what is the? Let's go down through the thing. What are the things? If as a state legislator, if I actually did my job, I suppose. is the
Right.
way to put it.
If that means
Right.
read the
Yeah.
homework that I sent you.
Things like that.
Things like that.
what are the issues that are facing the welfare department that are actually sucking up all the tax money?
Well, if I could take it back a little bit, what I did in my book was I went back to the beginning of welfare, which was the welfare state, which was in the 40s. And we actually began to do it. It used to be done by community centers and churches. And then it went on a federal level because we had just gotten out of the war. And all the widows were supposed to be tended to, and, mothers without the mothers that didn't have that had children because the fathers had gone to war and got killed, so they had no income base.
Right.
So it was started primarily for that and to supplement some of the military families, and for the truly disabled. And unfortunately, we've gotten far away from the original
Far
goal.
afield, yes.
And so as I went on, what I did was I used welfare as a balloon word because welfare is not a word that's really acceptable anymore. You're not supposed to use the word welfare because
So
it got
why
a
are
bad
you
taste in
using it?
America.
Because
it's what
you're just trying to bring down the ratings of the show.
No, I'm using it because everybody in the world
we have-
actually
wait,
still
wait.
uses it.
Do we
They're stuck
actually
on
have
it.
ratings?
Oh, yes, we have tens of
Thousands.
people who are watching right now. Yes, in fact, yes, I can confirm that.
See?
Yeah. So what we did was
So that's like
once
one
we
person. That's one of my viewers. I think you just because
there
you
you go. I
used a
just
bad
ran them out. I
word.
used the bad welfare word.
Okay, so anyway, sorry.
Well, now that we moved into this whole welfare thing, it's gone amok.
Right.
And so I used it as a balloon factor like it was originally intended, which was to cover all of human services in the beginning. And now I found that the people that I denied were the people that the program was initially made for, like the elderly.
Right. Now,
and-
wait, yeah, the elderly, though, or the disabled, were covered under Social Security. Theoretically, you pay into...
Yes, you do, and I use that as a whole balloon name. So my name, welfare, really covers the whole balloon, just like the welfare state did in the original programming.
Because wasn't Social Security a result after the Depression
Correct.
to say, all right, we need everybody in the country to set aside a certain percentage of our income
To fulfill the American dream.
so that the state isn't left holding the bag when you get infirmed or in my case, just out of my mind. Isn't that different than welfare, which was the war on poverty and...
It's a little bit different because what's happened is the two have kind of crunched together, and after you read my book, you'll understand a little bit more about what I mean. But what happens is I've found throughout the years that the whole idea of welfare got twisted, and so now everybody's getting moved towards that disability, which is scrunching in all the Social Security income.
Okay.
And it's really the out for anybody who doesn't want to participate or contribute. You know, the average person thinks that all the abuse in welfare happens in the TANF cases, which is temporary assistance to needy families.
Every time it hits the news, it's always the welfare mom who sells her EBT.
Yeah, her
EBT card,
EBT
yeah.
card and stuff.
EBT
Yeah,
card
yeah.
to her boyfriend who buys beer with it and then moves.
Yes, and that's been the stereotype, and everybody has gotten that sort of idea in their head.
Right.
Where in reality, the TANF cases are the one cases in our state, anyways, where they have to be accountable. They have to actually be involved in work programs, or they have to be volunteering for their stipend and their grants.
Okay.
So, but disability has become the out, because if you don't want to work in the TANF program, you become disabled. You go on the aid to permanently and totally disabled through the state benefits, and then eventually onto Social Security, and it's crushing the system.
Right. So, like, what kind of? Yeah, I can see that if you're getting food stamps or something like that. That's a personally, I think that drives up the price of foods. But anyway, if you're getting food stamps, that's only a percentage.
Well, food stamps is also a federal program, like
Right,
Social
but-
Security, just distributed by the state.
It's part of Social Security.
Yeah, well, it's owned by the federal government. So the federal government issues it, and we distribute it through the states.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just like the Social Security, or they go on APTD, which is the age of the permanently and totally disabled, they get out of their responsibility to contribute to any programming, and they go over to the disability realm.
Okay.
And it's seriously crushing the system. It's in fact, it's encouraged by caseworkers to
What is?
try to process quickly.
Now, my cousin was working for Social Security down in Boston years ago, and he had to quit. he could not sit there and tell little old ladies, no, sorry, nope, not going to do it.
Yeah, that
Nope,
killed me.
Absolutely.
It killed me as
way.
a caseworker to deny the elderly and the military families. That was really hard too,
Well, why do they get denied?
because they're usually over income by like $10
No kidding.
or $15. But like a perfect example, and this happened to me all the time, was a military person would come in, and the husband or wife, because there was a good dose of both sides, and they'd say, I might be making $40,000 a year, but my husband was making $50,000 a year, which he's not making anymore,
Right.
and
'Cause
now
he's
I
in
need to have
Iraq- 'cause he's in
eligibility.
Iraq.
Yeah, and you'd say, I'm sorry, but your family's over income because you need to make under 27. So it was very frustrating, because those were the people that the American citizens originally wanted to help. We
Right.
wanted to help the military, we wanted to help the elderly, and we wanted to help the women with children.
Right.
And those numbers just go skyrocket. And we're paying for this for people who basically aren't contributing. So that's why in the end of my book, I give 10 solutions to clean it all up in less than 60 days.
Really?
And had you read that, you'd have known that.
Yeah, Gary.
Bow your head. And in that, one of the
think I
things is
should
that is that no one contributes. You're not going to block me off your Facebook now, are you, dear?
No.
Okay, good,
I don't.
good.
I'm not very sensitive
Oh,
actually.
that's good. But there's, the part that really, that's the part that got me the most frustrated, was that the people that I wanted to help were the people that I'd have to deny, and the people that I knew were abusing the system, but they fell within those little guidelines of policy. I was giving them carte blanche. They're living better than some of the taxpayers. And that's where the frustration came in. And my first chapter is called Complain, Complain, Complain. And that's why I wrote the book, because I would have clients on one end saying, you don't give me enough. I can't live on the money that you're giving me. You're making me stay in poverty. And then I'd talk to the taxpayer, and they would say, this is just totally unfair. The guy down the street is getting, the disability, he's getting the food stamps,
Yep.
he's getting the medical, do you know that a person on disability right now, if they work, say, 10 years, gets more money than the man who retired after 50?
How's that?
Figure it out for me, because it makes no sense whatsoever.
What if they're working for 10 years at minimum wage?
There you go. The numbers don't work, but somehow that's the way the system works. And it's because that's the way policy is driven. So at first, people would get very angry, but in my topic of complain, I talk a little bit about the history and how we got to where we are. And then I talk about that, everybody was so mad. The client said, they didn't get enough, and they complained, and the taxpayer said, we're paying too much, and they complained. And where is the truth, and where is the balance in there? And then I go into 11 case studies that explain each kind of case that comes into the welfare office, and what happens to those cases.
Let's can you run us through a case?
Okay, well, I'll pick one of them out of there. Let's see. The number one that my fans like the most is called No Benefits for You, Grandma. And it's a elderly woman who is based on a character that I devised from my mother-in-law, who is now 84 years old and still works. God bless her. And my father-in-law has passed. And I can't give her benefits. So you fall in love with her. Her name is Gracie. She's wonderful, as my mother-in-law is. And, her and her husband worked all these years, and her husband passes away. She loses his Social Security money to the amount that she was receiving. She can't, cover the full. She doesn't have a mortgage or a home, but she can't afford the taxes. She can't afford to pay for her food and her medicine, so she's stopped taking her medicine. She only has one grandchild, and her son is deceased from cancer, and her grandchild is in college, so she doesn't want to bother him with any of her problems. She's very active in her church. She's very active she does like a day a week working, and she can't afford the gas now. She's more concerned that she can't afford the gas to do these community programs that she's involved in to volunteer for than she is about her own welfare. She hasn't gone to a doctor in a couple of years because she doesn't have the money to spend for it, and won't go to the church to ask because she's the one who takes care of the other people. And at the end, she kills herself when she finds out she's diagnosed with cancer. So that's the one everyone loves, and it's called No Benefits for You, Grandma. Yeah. But I run the gamut. There's one in there called Liberated Hatchet Killer. It's about a prisoner who gets out of the prison, and we give him benefits, full benefits. He ends
So-
up on Social Security disability.
For what?
For post-traumatic stress disorder. That is a very frustrating case. There's another one in there called Who's Your Daddy? And it's about incest in a family home. And the father serves time for, having sex with his oldest daughter. And then, DCYF is all about reuniting the family. And you see the disastrous results that come out of that. The thing about my
would
cases is that
DCYFs want to...
the whole idea for DCYF is to reunite the family.
Yes, but there's limits.
Well, there are limits, but unfortunately, the way policy is designed,
There's
there's
no
the
limits.
rule, and that's it, and that's the way that it goes. And that's one of millions of different kinds of cases that I dealt with.
And I know you talk about this in the book, and I think you're absolutely correct. Is it and it's something Matt's heard me say a few times on the show, is that the problem is that there's most of this stuff should be local control.
Well, that's
almost
one of the
entirely.
solutions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you an example. I'm on disability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I worked for 34 years as a toolmaker, and they said you can't see good enough. Get out of here before you lose, digits.
But you're contributing.
No,
Yes, because you're working as a person
I
in
go
our
up there and
politics.
take naps and eat free food. Deb, that's not.
Well, you're
We count that as contribution because it really is, and that's one of my biggest issues. Is that the people who had the largest disabilities were the people who were doing the most contribution.
Okay, calm down. Just we try.
I can't get calm. I get crazy and passionate
We
about it.
try to keep the show very sedate.
Yeah, right.
yes.
Uh-huh.
We try
Yeah.
to be very.
Is there some? No. Well, we've done a poll, and of the 10, well, this now 9.
Of the 10 people.
Now there was 9 people that watch. 30% of them are older.
Yes.
So we try to just chill out.
We don't want to accidentally kill one of our 9 viewers by giving them a heart attack or something. If we get too animated and overexcited.
Then their blood pressure goes up,
Okay.
and boom.
I'll be
I'm down
very,
to
very,
8.
very calm for you.
Yes,
Okay,
we have to be
just-
very calm.
It's very hard for me.
Okay. I appreciate the sincerity of your attempt.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I appreciate it too.
Anyway, so I felt like I was in the legislature for a minute. So anyway, so I knew, because I've got glaucoma, I knew that there was going to come a point in time when I couldn't work. I knew it. I went to the Social Security office. First of all, I went up there because it was, where the heck is it in Concord? It's like in this,
Down in the little gallow down there.
no, not that one. It was like just a few years ago. So maybe you're right. I don't know. I went in there, you get by the tanks and the Constantine wire and stuff like that. And I went in the office and I said, I'd like to talk to somebody. Well, you can't talk to somebody. I said, well, I've got some question. Well, are you filing for disabilities? No. I want to know how I can avoid going on disability by trying something else. Like maybe you guys, before I'm on disability, you could train me, because I can't. College is wicked expensive. I went after I got disability. I said, well, I got time. I'd like to learn some stuff. So I went up to the Votech and looked at the prices. Yeah, I don't need to learn that bad. So I said, well, it makes sense that if we started working towards it, by the time I did have to leave my job, I could take maybe a job that only paid, say, $15 an hour. Social Security fits in the middle, so I don't lose my house and my home, and my wife starts beating me repeatedly again, because she does that. She's
Yeah.
brutal.
Oh, yeah.
As he smiles.
His wife doesn't watch the show, by the way.
Yeah, she doesn't. So, and says, oh, no, we can't do that.
That's
And I said, well, what do you mean
true.
you can't do that? That's
Yeah.
logical. You should be working with people so that they're not
Right.
on the system,
Right.
not saying, no, I'm sorry, this is the rules. We have to wait until you're completely disabled. Then you can file this, and then you can file that. Now, I got lucky. I probably shouldn't say it that way, but because I don't know if you've ever met him, Russ Day. Okay, Russ Day had a lot to do with Social Security, and he helped me fill out he kind of was
Paperwork.
like a paperwork and stuff like that, and I got accepted immediately. I
That's very rare.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
rare, and I think partially because it was glaucoma and it was extremely tangible.
It was an undeniable disability.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the idea that they wouldn't work with me to try to prevent that from happening is insane.
Therein lies the problem. I talk about it in my. That's exactly what happened to me. I worked as a caseworker. I left there. I started writing my book, and I write way in the woods. So I started getting a little bit of cabin fever, and I thought, you know what, I should probably get something for the summer just to get out of here for a little bit. So I started working at a small little convenience store in my catchment area.
What's a catchment?
That's the area that you cover when you're a caseworker. Like I worked
Oh,
in
I
the
thought it was.
Concord
I
catchment
thought
area.
she said catchment area. I'm thinking, like Haverhill or Laconia.
Right, right.
The catchment area.
So
I like the mountains. that
There
they have.
you go. So I started working in that area, and it was weird because the people that I met, a lot of the people that I met in the store were my clients, and they were lying so badly and they were blatant about it. Do you know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm on my way to work for Joe. I work under the table and he pays me, and and oh yeah, I got a brand new truck, but that's not counting the car that I claimed with you." And I mean, it just went on and on and on.
No shame,
and
huh?
it was kind of weird though, because I was writing about it and no one knew.
Right.
And I thought to myself, okay, the universe is trying to tell me something here. This is the real story.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. And the funny thing was that I can't name one elderly client that I had that came in that store that lied at all. In fact, sometimes as a caseworker, I'd be like, "Don't tell me that," but you don't say it. You just gotta shake in your head.
Right.
And they're like, "And my daughter gave me $40." Do you know what I mean? And they like showing you, and it's just nuts. But it's
Now, as
come
a
to the point now where
caseworker,
it's
did it
become,
ever get tempted? Is it? Oh, you have to give that to me.
no,
we have
because
it.
they
wait,
pay
wait.
so well, but the pay is
I know.
actually not too bad. But
No,
you
again,
work
we
really
got a
hard for
caller,
it.
Steve.
We have a caller.
Yes.
Hi, Steve. Welcome to the show. Steve, you there?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Steve.
Oh, yeah, this is for a guest. Great subject today. I'd like to ask your guest, is she familiar with Obama's aunt, the
Tootie.
one who
Rat-
came over
rat-
to this country illegally? She was supposed to be deported 3 times.
The
Make a long
Ratatouille.
story- What's that?
Some rat. I forget her name.
Yeah, Ratatouille.
Toonie. Answers is a Toonie.
It's a Toonie.
Well, anyways, you can see this on, I guess it's on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
She was interviewed by WBZ. There's part 1, PZTV, part 1 and part 2. And this lady, to make a long story short, this lady who was supposed to be deported 3 times ended up staying in the country. She gets Social Security disability. Yeah, and she also gets HUD. I mean, everything. She gets free health care, everything. And my question to you is, you're familiar with that, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Now, these people who are coming into our country like this, these refugees that you see coming in from the Sudan
Yeah.
and other countries, are these people getting set up by our government or our state? They say that one guy was telling me that some of them will go on actual get disability checks, and they say that the reason why they're getting the disability checks is because they can't speak English, they don't know how to read, so they put them on disability so they'll have some kind of income. Is that true?
Well, in a sense, it is true. I do have one story in my book called "The Lady with No Feet," and it's about a lady who comes from Zaire, and she's obviously disabled. I had quite a few refugees on my caseload, and I have to be honest with you, compared to regular Americans, they were just surprised that medical wasn't free, but the majority of them did actually find employment and start paying back into the system. But if they figure out, and as is happening quickly, obviously, they're figuring out what the loophole is to just apply for disability. So unfortunately, those numbers are growing.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah.
For everyone, though, it's across the board. You know, I used to have a big joke that I used to always say because, you know, they wouldn't understand and they'd say, what do you mean no free medical? I'd be like, we have freedom, not free. Nothing's free. But, you know, once they get into the disability circle, it's all free.
It's funny you say that. There was a person that I knew that worked for the Manchester Transit Authority. He used to be a bus driver.
Yeah.
And one day, these two refugees dressed in their headgear, whatever, come walking on the bus, and they started walking towards the back. And he said to them, the two ladies, excuse me, ma'am, you're supposed to pay. And they went, no, free. And he says, no, you have to put your money over in here. And they said, no, free. So he says, hold on for 1 second. The lady behind these two ladies, the refugees here, could you just come in and show them how it's done? The lady came in, put the money in, and went to the back of the bus. The ladies continued to say free, and they wanted to go back in the bus. And this guy said, look, I'm trying to be nice to you. If you don't pay, you're going to have to get off the bus. And they said, no, free. So he said, finally, he says, ma'am, if you don't pay, you have to get off the bus. And if you're not going to get off the bus, I'm going to have to call the police. They turned around to him and said to him, F you, and walked off the bus.
Yeah, that should be one of our slogans, you know, because I used to say to them, because they said free. And I'd say, no, freedom.
Okay, hey, Steve, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Steve.
But, you know, I don't want to pick on refugees by any chance, because most of mine, like I said, did go to work. But the truth is that it's across the board. Once they find out the disability loop, they're jumping on board. I read a story, Lazy-itis, about that.
Right now, yeah. See, to me, what you end up with, and it's part of the problem I have with the war on poverty, is you instill dependency. And people, instead of becoming all they can be and maybe being a good doctor or carpenter or anything else that they could have been had they been required to make a living, they end up just self-destructing.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is because of the way that policy is designed, I'm very careful in my book to say, listen, don't be mad at people taking advantage of the system. Be mad at a system that allows people to take advantage of it. So, in policy, we're actually designed as caseworkers, or taught as caseworkers, that we should provide you with all the benefits that you should be entitled to. So once I tell you all the benefits that you could be entitled to, it's sort of a free-for-all. So what happens if, and this is in one of my solutions, what happens if we did just the opposite of that? And we said, you know what, why don't you come in? Well, okay, if you want to contribute, then we will be happy to give you a stipend. No contribution, no stipend. You wouldn't have to reduce state workers, you wouldn't have to reduce federal workers, and you wouldn't have to reduce town workers. You just put them all in one spot, like the towns. Because trust me when I tell you, they say, you have to verify with the towns. With the size of the caseloads, it's an absolute impossibility. And what happens is these people are double duking. So they're getting benefits from the state, they're getting benefits from the federal government, they're getting benefits from the towns, and they're getting benefits from the church and community centers. So what would happen if you put everybody in one room in these community centers? So if you had a big city like Manchester or Boston, you'd break them up into communities. And these caseworkers pick up your laptops, go in there, sit down, and review the cases. It would be time affordable, so we wouldn't waste money in that. And it would also,
wait.
Mary, because Mary in the town hall, she knows who's staying at Joe's house. She knows who lives with Mary. She knows what kind of income's coming into that house.
Wait, okay, because I get dream image in my mind for a bit.
I like that.
So, what your inference is that really what we should do is, instead of everybody going to Concord to collect, or Manchester or Nashua, I don't know if they have a branch now. They probably do.
No, not even.
And centralizing everything, you should localize everything.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because when I became the clerk at the convenience store after I was a caseworker, I knew more about those people than I'd known in all those years.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask a different tact is. Is there money to be? Is there a reward for somebody who says, calls up and says, well, Gary Hopper's collecting disability, and I know he's working under the table for $5,000 a month.
No, and if you brought it to the local level, there'd be no reason for it. If there isn't now, you
Right,
just report someone.
But what happens if you report somebody?
Well, yeah, I got to be. In all of the years that I worked there, I reported several people, and only really one case because there's so many, and it's so hard to prove because of the way that the laws are designed. It's so hard to prove it. Whereas if you brought it, my biggest fear is that the government will bring it to the local level and just leave it on the towns, because you're going to need all those federal workers and all those state workers, and you're going to need, in my program that I designed in here, you're going to need AmeriCorps, because contribution is the goal. If you want to see some miracles going on, welfare was designed to help people. So if you're going to help people, bring the whole circle together. Let everybody work as a community. You'll see some serious miracles going on there. Serious miracles. Helping people who are unable to do different things, and other people who are able to do it. And Joe, who's home collecting disability because he's got a bad back, but you see him chopping 2 cords of wood, is not going to be able to pull that gig anymore.
Yeah.
It's not going to be able to happen anymore. And everyone's going to become accountable. They're going to have to contribute.
Why are these chairs better than guest chairs? I was sitting in there earlier, and you lean back,
Yeah.
you almost fall over.
I know, right? That's the adventure of it.
Because you're supposed to be nice to your guests, and we get the good seats.
No. No, that's not what I do.
No.
No, I'm brutal.
I have a
Burrito.
question. Why is disability so easy to qualify for? Because it sounds like that's a big part of the problem.
Well, the funny thing is for some people it isn't, and for some people it is.
Okay.
I can't go into saying exactly that because I didn't work for the medical services. I just processed it and watched it happen.
Yeah.
That's a question that really needs to come up, though. That's an important question. And we can't subsidize all of America. It's just an impossibility. We can't afford to do it. And everybody doesn't mind helping, but one thing they don't want to do is to give the free ride. They don't
Right.
want to be taken advantage of. And unfortunately, it's happening way more times than it should.
Wait. What would us politicians do if we weren't given a free ride? We would.
That's a
You'd
good
actually
question,
create
yeah.
responsible policy. That's really what this comes down to. Don't blame the client who's
Now-
going to get the benefits.
No, wait. No, let's. If I'm a state legislator,
You are, amazingly.
Whoa.
wow.
Ouch! Hurt.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, you're just getting in the groove of how the show works is what it is.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull out the whips and chains pretty soon.
Sounds like it. All right. That's a little early. It's a little early in the day for that.
Yeah, I probably have to wait till the 9
I
o'clock.
think so.
There you
Yeah.
go.
for
Yeah,
that,
see,
probably, yeah.
we don't want to get banned.
It seems like to me, and I don't know enough about it, that too much of this is on the federal level. Like, in other words, let's say as a legislator, I introduce legislation that says that any city and/or town with a population of over 10,000 people shall have its own welfare office where the federal and state government shall distribute welfare, period. So that everybody in that, and the only people within that town can apply for welfare at that office. Okay?
Makes sense to me.
I
love
know.
it.
Well, the problem is what I've seen in state government is almost every nickel we get has got so many cotton picking strings attached to it that I don't know that would even be legal.
Well, there has to come a time when a line has to be drawn. And if it means that the laws need to be changed and the policies need to be
Right.
changed,
Well, the
then so
question
be it.
is who changes the law, federal or state?
It would have to be both. Federal would need to refine in a much more decisive way the disability lines. They definitely need to really seriously look into what is contribution. And contribution is the real key to making a good, and I want to get rid of the word welfare because it's so stigmatized, but to make a good stipend program. Because stipend means it's not free.
Right.
And welfare means it's free. So we need to look into all of that stuff, but it does need to go to the local level because they're the ones who are going to be the most privy to the actual facts of a case.
Did you use that eye on the cover of your thing to make fun of my disability?
I think she did too.
He's been
yeah.
waiting the whole entire show
rubbing
just
it
to
in-
say that.
she's
Because
rubbing it in
I
your
do. I
face.
have a very big eye that's on the cover, but with the American money burning below it.
Yes.
So
I see. I can't see good enough to see that.
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
Little Mel texted with a comment. She said, disability is really hard to get for the mentally ill. 99% of cases are denied.
well, almost everybody's denied the first time around.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah,
First time everyone.
almost
yeah.
everyone is denied the first time around, and that's not a bad policy as far as I'm concerned, except for, of course, somebody who's in a
Well,
terminal
I was
illness.
not to disagree with Little Mel because she's my hero, but I was told that one of the balloons in the whole process was in the last few years. I believe it was under the Democrats when the Democrats had control of the House in the first 2 years of Obama. They changed the parameters for eligibility for disability to include a lot of like depression and things like that. It's actually jumped the numbers up considerably.
I think,
And I don't know that that's true.
That was at the request of the states, though.
It doesn't matter who requested it.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, some
who
of them were
requested it.
Republican governors.
And I have absolutely no problem with it as
Yeah.
long as they are contributing.
Right.
I have no problem with distributing to people who are contributing. But people who say, I can't contribute, I've got nothing to contribute, you've got eye problems, but you contribute.
Right.
Okay?
There's probably very
There's
few
a big
people
difference.
that can't contribute
There's
in
very
some
few
way.
people who consider me
the
contributing.
The people who contributed the most were the people who had the most severe disabilities. And I mean people in wheelchairs, people who are blind, people who you automatically say to yourself, that individual is disabled. Not somebody who has lazy-itis, which is another story in my book. So
Well, the
it's-
thing is, a lot of times, if you're playing a lot of video games, okay, and you're
you have a skill.
you have the skill, but it's a lot of effort and work to get to. Like if you get almost like level 75, right? You're almost level 75. You got another month to work on it. How can you be expected to go out and do something for somebody else?
Well, that's a good point, because you want to excel at that video game.
And the other thing too is a lot of times these
I can't wait to pay for that. Should I sign the check today?
because a lot of times these people are not only becoming level 75, but they're actually helping other characters along the way to also become. So it is.
Oh, you're going to love my story,
helping the
Lazy-itis, because it's
community.
all about them
It's
bringing
a-
in.
and it is the
absolutely.
cyber
The cyber
community.
community. Yeah, the cyber community of Nowhereville.
So can I, Deb? Can I ask you a question? Because I posted this on Facebook the other day. Do you think if somebody goes out dancing to 70s music, are they retroactive? These are the questions I think of.
These are the
Yes.
questions. Yeah, that's scaring me.
Or even 80s music, really. I mean,
yeah, it could be 80s,
Yeah,
yeah.
80s could be retro.
Sure, yeah.
In a way, yeah. I don't
Sorry,
know.
did I just should go on?
Threw a curve in it? Don't you worry. Because if they can dance, they can contribute, right?
Right, exactly.
So they can move.
That's
They'd be shakers and movers.
shakers and
Yes,
movers.
yes, very good.
Ah,
Well played.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes. So legislatively, you're not really sure how this all pans out,
I was a caseworker. I wasn't a legislator.
right? Okay. Because that. Since I've been up in Concord, that is always the problem. It's not. It's like, actually, I don't know what town you lived in, but you should run for office.
That will never happen.
Why not?
Because
The reason I'm asking you to do that, I'm asking you to do it, is because you've seen one side, okay, you could start seeing the legislative part of it and actually put those puzzles together. Because I've never seen what you've seen or understand it in any great detail, and probably will fail to understand it. But the legislative part is that's where it's the devil's in the details.
Yeah, well,
That
I
is
don't mind
where the problem-
testifying for the legislature, and I have a whole new appreciation for what you do for work because it is hard work. I went before the legislature for the drug initiative for welfare.
Drug courts.
No, to take drug testing for TANF.
Oh, yeah. And where's your take on that?
I absolutely think it's a great thing for many reasons. I think that it will save a lot of families. I think that there's a lot of people out there unfortunately, there'll be a loophole where disability will get away with it. So,
Right.
there has to be some kind of limit there as to how that goes.
Yeah.
But I would never really want to get into politics because right now, at the time of my life, I have 7 grandchildren and I'm doing the job of my dreams to be an author. And I'm loving it.
Well, the thing is they should drug test legislators too.
There you go.
Okay, so the room's empty, right?
Yeah,
The whole
exactly,
entire room is empty. I do want to say, because I see we only have a couple minutes left, but my book is available on Amazon.com. It's also available on
What's the name of it? You got
DebShorter.com, and my book is called An Eye into Welfare, Giving Away Your Tax Dollars. And I've been getting killer reviews and
Killer reviews.
making
It's
very
violent
good money.
Right?
Someone
Yes,
asked me that in an
yes.
interview. They said, because obviously all my characters are fictional, but I'm the caseworker
Right.
in the stories. So, in the benefits that the people receive are all factual. So they said, wow, you killed like 5 people. It never really occurred to me that I'd killed so many clients until after I was all done. I got issues.
But thank you anyway. Make sure she doesn't get back on me.
Yeah.
Walk her to the door.
Walk her to the door quickly.
Keep
I'm gonna
Hold
hide
that
the hand
grenade.
There you go. Yeah, I think so.
I did say I want that.
Matt, you're the best.
Oh, thanks, Gary.
Matt, thank
Deb,
you.
thank you very much. You're
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thanks
Yes,
for having
Thanks
me.
for
coming
putting
on.
up
This
with
has
us.
been great.
Hey, have a good night, folks.
All right,
everybody.
thanks a lot.
Oh. Matt, you're the best.
Oh, thanks, Gary.
Matt, thank
Deb,
you.
thank you very much. You're
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thanks
Yes,
for having
Thanks
me.
for
coming
putting
on.
up
This
with
has
us.
been great.
Hey, have a good night, folks.
All right,
everybody.
thanks a lot.
Oh.